Good day, everyone. We are the Group 7 and we are going to share what we know about conflict and negotiation in the workplace. We will start with the objectives. Objectives: to know what is conflict, to know the sources of conflict, to know how to deal with conflict, to know what are the types of conflict, to know the conflict process, to know what are the outcomes of the conflict, to know what are the conflict resolution techniques, to know the conflict stimulation techniques, to know the conflict management techniques, to know what are the conflict management strategies, to know what is negotiation, to know what are the negotiation process, to know what are the qualities of a successful negotiator.
So working together isn't always easy. So yes, working together opens new possibilities for positive relationships, improved capacity for influence, collaboration, cooperation, engagement to fun, joy, and ultimately productivity. But we must also know that being in a team, we will also engage with different people with different attitudes, different perceptions, and beliefs that we will need to understand, because if not, that's when conflict occur within the workplace. What is conflict? So conflict is a process that begins when party perceives that another party has negatively affected or is about to negatively affect something which the first party cares about. So like what I've said, na being in an organization, we will be engaged with different people, with different attitudes, perceptions, and beliefs that we need to understand, because if not, mao din na siyang magka-conflict dayon sa workplace. For example, ikaw dili ka mag-adjust sa imong trabahoan, and na kay mabuhat na something na maka-negatively affect sa isa ka member or sa other organization sa imong workplace. So syempre dili sila makaangay sa imong gibuhat, and magkadumot sila sa imo, and that's when there is tension na dayon sa organization or sa workplace. There are different sources of conflict. So the first one is the different goals and time horizon, the overlapping authority, the task interdependencies, the different evaluation or reward systems, the scarce resources, and the status and inconsistency. Different goals and time horizons. So different groups have different goals, and focus will cause conflict because syempre we all know that having the same team goals will help the company achieve its objectives. So having different goals may cause conflict because of course you will differ in focus also on what to achieve in your company. And if you will not able to understand each other, that may lead to tension between members and make everyone uncomfortable with each other. Overlapping authority. Two or more managers claim authority for the same activities, which leads to conflict between the managers and the workers. There is specific individuals responsible for performing jobs, because one person cannot be responsible for performing all the activities that take place within an organization. Since so many people work in a given management system, organizing necessarily involves dividing for activities among a number of individuals. So, overlapping responsibility should be avoided. Often, the job does not get done because each employee assumes the other will do it. Task interdependencies. So, responsibility is the obligation to perform assigned activities. So, it is the self-assumed commitment to handle a job to the best of one's. So, if one member of a group or a group fails to finish a task that another member or group depends on, it will really make conflict with other members because, of course, you have assigned task and the other gave their best while the others are irresponsible. So it will cause waiting for nothing for the others. And also, being irresponsible lead the group to fall behind. Different evaluation are reward systems. So a group is rewarded for achieving a goal, but another interdependent group is rewarded for achieving a goal that conflicts. So a common reality in many work organizations is the equality that exists in the distribution of available rewards. So one often sees little correlation between those who perform well and those who receives the greatest. The next one is the scarce resources. So managers can come into conflict over the allocation of scarce resources because scarcity increases negative emotions, which affects our actions and decisions. So these changes can impact thought processes and behaviors. So if there is scarcity in resources, the managers will struggle and suffer, and some will suffer in stress because syempre if problemado inyong managers, kay nanay scarcity in resources sa inyong company, so maapektuhan jud iya ang actions and decisions, and mo na siyang time nga magpataka lang siya og decision sa inyong company, and kanang init kayang ulo pag inyo siyang i-approach. So magka-cause din na siya og conflict within the workplace. The last one is the status and inconsistency. So there are different level of status, and some individuals and groups have a higher organization status than others, and some will make use of their higher organization and act as superiors and underestimate small organization status that will really cause tension in the workplace. Also, inconsistency. Inconsistent behavior is a silent killer in the workplace. Inconsistency from leaders confuses people, erodes trust, that causes fear, and can lead to shutdown interactions with the offending managers.
Types of conflict. So we have 4 types of conflict, which is the interpersonal conflict, intragroup conflict, intergroup conflict, and interorganizational conflict. So what is interpersonal conflict? So this is a conflict between individuals due to differences in their goals or values. Interpersonal conflict is any form of conflict. It can be emotional, physical, personal, or professional between 2 or more people. So we know that conflict is common in all facets of life, including at home, within your family, and of course in the workplace. So of course, it's imperative to have the skills and knowledge to address and how to resolve conflict appropriately. So here are a few examples of interpersonal conflict you may see in the workplace. First, your coworker openly criticizes the work you do. An upset customer has insulted you out of frustration. Your employer loses their temper over a mistake you made. One colleague found out that another colleague was gossiping about them, and etc. Okay, so the second conflict is the intragroup conflict. So it is understandable na that this conflict is within a group or a team. Intragroup conflict refers to a specific kind of conflict that occurs between members of a group that shares common goals, interests, or other identifying characteristics. So intragroup conflict can be a small scale, such as within a workplace lang, or a large scale, such as between members of a specific population group. Though conflict is generally regarded as a problem, intragroup conflict can also serve as a valuable tool in some contexts. So we have Benefits of intragroup conflict. Though the consequences of intragroup conflict can promote job dissatisfaction and diminish personal relationships, some degree of intragroup conflict can prove functional. In a functional intragroup conflict, the result of the conflict is increased communication that could translate to increased productivity. Functional intergroup conflict promotes careful discussion of a variety of ideas that can yield greater or more effective output. Functional conflict is typically task conflict and requires careful group management and communication to prevent the development of relationship conflict. The third conflict is the intergroup conflict. This conflict is between two or more teams, groups, or departments. Managers play a key role in resolution of this conflict. Intergroup conflict refers to disagreements that exist between two or more groups and their respective members. However, this can also reflect any type of formal or informal disagreements between varying groups, such as political parties or activist groups. For example, we often see conflict between the marketing and production units within a corporation as each vies for more resources to accomplish its sub-goals. The last conflict is the inter-organizational conflict. This conflict involves disputes between two or more organizations. For example, a disagreement between computer manufacturers over computer standards. To summarize the four conflicts, so the interpersonal is conflict between two or more people. Then the intergroup is kaning between one or more people but in the same team or group lang. Then the intergroup is kanang several different teams na jud siya. Then the interorganizational conflict is more siya ang pinaka-highest above all the conflict because this involves kuana between two or more organizations.
Dealing with conflict. Most people are uncomfortable with conflict. But is conflict always bad? Conflict can be dysfunctional if it paralyzes an organization, leads to less than optimal performance, or in the worst case, leads to workplace violence. Surprisingly, a moderate amount of conflict can actually be a healthy part of organization life. To understand how to get to a positive level of conflict, we need to understand its root causes, consequences, and tools to help manage it. The impact of too much or too little conflict can disrupt performance. If conflict is too low, then performance is low. If conflict is too high, then performance also tends to be low. The goal is to hold conflict levels in the middle of this range. While it might seem strange to want a particular level of conflict, a medium level of task-related conflict is often viewed as optimal because it represents a situation in which a healthy debate of ideas takes place.